A fascinating offseason for the Chicago Bears after a disappointing 2019 season. No move getting more attention, of course, than the acquisition of Nick Foles in a trade from Jacksonville. He now comes in to compete with former first-round draft pick Mitch Trubisky. For more on that, we bring in our Stacey Dales for a Chicago Bears roster reset. We've talked so much for months now, Stacey, about Foles versus Trubisky. We have not, because of COVID-19, seen them yet on the field. How do you anticipate this competition plays out?
Well, Tom, good afternoon to you. Great start for you on your first hosting gig, by the way. Take all that you can from me and Rappaport. Here's the deal. This is Mitch's team to lose. They're going to split reps if training camp ensues, but he is as committed as ever, as much as I've seen him in my coverage of him over the years since he entered the league. And he's embracing this challenge in this competition with Nick Foles already. He knows he didn't merit the fifth-year option. I think that's important to note. And he is pushing himself, he said, in ways that he never has. And part of the problem last year, it wasn't just the on-field stuff. It was him physically. And he's in a really good place physically. He had that partial tear in his left labrum a season ago. He cleaned it up this offseason with some surgery. And then here this is Spear Training Center in nearby Vernon Hills, Illinois, just about 10 minutes from Hallis Hall, where the team trains. And he is right on pace. He said his body feels terrific. And again, Tommy is embracing the competition. He's holding himself. He said, I'm holding myself to a whole new level. And not to mention the fact that he's working with Throw It Deep, which is, the quarterback aficionado of Jeff Christensen and his son Jake, who have worked with the likes of Patrick Mahomes, Jimmy Garoppolo, Ryan Tannehill, Kirk Cousins. The list goes on, and I can confirm he's doing that. That being said, he needs playmakers around him, and the key position I'm looking at, which I know the Chicago Bears did, are the tight ends. They've got 9 of them, Tom, right now on their roster. Jimmy Graham was added, Demetrius Harris, who knows Matt Nagy well from several years in Kansas City, and then, of course, Cole Kmet. He's the rookie, the local guy, and he wants to model his game after Rob Gronkowski. If that gives you any indication, that young man right there wants to barrel down the field and be a productive asset for the Chicago Bears this season.
Cole Kmet, a guy who a lot of NFL executives thought might even slip into the first round of the draft back in April, ends up falling to the Bears in the second. They certainly think they got value there. Let's talk about the Chicago defense. That has been their calling card for a number of years now. And you would like to think when you got a guy like Khalil Mack on one side, whoever is on the other side should feast. They release Leonard Floyd, their former first-round draft pick, signed Robert Quinn to one of the eye-popping deals in all of free agency. How does Quinn fit into the big picture in Chicago?
Well, Tom, you raised an excellent point, and Robert Quinn was brought in specifically to play opposite Khalil Mack. Here's going to be the challenge. He is adjusted virtually, but this is a 4-3 kind of guy on the edge. He had 11.5 sacks with the Cowboys last season. So in talking to Chuck Pagano, the defensive coordinator, he's going to have to adjust to the 3-4 scheme. That means time on the field. But he's been awesome in meetings thus far with coaches. Eddie Jackson is a player. They want to get back to being Eddie Jackson. Chuck Pagano says, let Eddie be Eddie. Another player we're highlighting because his 6 interceptions, Tom, in 2018 and a couple touchdowns, they want that opportunistic Eddie Jackson back. And there will be, by the way, a lot of competition at safety and cornerback in that backfield. Lastly, how can you not talk about this defense without mentioning the 2 heart and soul members of it in its core, which are Akeem Hicks up front and certainly Danny Trevathan in the middle. When they speak, their teammates listen. They missed time last year. Hicks 11 games, Trevathan 7. They both had elbow injuries. They're healthy. Let's see if training camp happens so that they can get on the field with their guys.